Hi, my name is Suna, and I care about this issue because of the significant wealth gap in Black communities. A study by the Selig Center for Economic Growth found that money circulates once in the African American community. In contrast, it circulates nearly an unlimited number of times in white neighborhoods. This is important because money in circulation means higher financial stability and potential for economic growth. So, how can disadvantaged communities boost money circulation? Well, by reinvesting in their businesses to produce wealth. That's where our application comes in. It could make these smaller businesses more accessible to people so that there's greater effort to buy from smaller retailers instead of large wealthy corporations.
An app like this one wouldn't only give my fiance and I a fun way to get to know our community and other communities as we travel, it would also help a friend of mine who's trying to run her own bakery and wedding catering business, or my sister-in-law who owns a horse training ranch in Cleveland. By restricting the content to local businesses, this app opens the door for more customer traffic and a bigger online presence.
Publicity is hard to attain, and back home in Ghana, it was very common for people to reach out to me, sending me posters and teaser videos to post to my social media in order to support them and help them promote their business. And this happened so often, it became really annoying, so I stopped responding. But when you stop responding, that could harm your relationship with the person, regardless of whether you're friends or not. And also, it was a very awkward encounter. So I feel like an app, a central app where all these small businesses could come together and thrive would be the perfect solution. They wouldn't see the need to spam social media with their pictures and links that oftentimes aren't clicked. And I feel like this virtual mall would give more attention to the goods and services these businesses are providing, as well as increased patronage.
I really do care about this app, and I envision it as a way to communities to be self-sufficient. For communities like mine that are very suburban, it's hard to go and walk a mile for someone that might not have a car just to get a gallon of milk or a bag of chips. And I think that communities like mine should be able to nurture entrepreneurs, people that want to grow their business and provide a service to their neighbors. And I think that with our app, we can empower these people so that you can go to your neighbor for a bag of chips, go to another neighbor for a haircut, and have a community that you really rely on.
I live in Lawrence, Massachusetts, occasionally known as the Immigrant City. I want to be able to empower my community and make sure my city stays an immigrant city full of different cultures from across the globe. By showcasing every and any local business or startup, this app would pull outside economic stimulation into my town that would greatly strengthen our local economy and community resources. This app allows an avenue for creativity and craft to be seen by any passerby. Everybody knows somebody that's trying to sell something. Whether it be my family-owned mechanic shop that started decades ago, or my friends turned amateur vendors spending their free time trying to craft jewelry or practicing nail designs or creating hair care treatment kits. If people want new and niche experiences, this app would be where to get them.
It's so important to support local small businesses to foster local economies and boost community identity, as well as enhance the quality of living of these communities, because the success of local businesses leads to improved local services and keeps the spirit of these neighborhoods alive. Insourcing also has proven economic and environmental benefits because of the reduction of transportation, better quality of goods, and is overall much more sustainable. Being born and raised in New York City, especially since the onset of the pandemic, I've noticed in my community and in Chinatown, a lot of small restaurants and goods shops have been forced to close. This one example is like this corner store that this old couple owns that sells dumplings and other very niche Chinese desserts has been forced to close, that my family has been visiting for years because they simply do not have the bandwidth or the technology to be able to reach the normal customers that they would in a very remote and virtual setting. So I think this type of app or application would serve as a platform and a centralized method for rising entrepreneurs who are starting out their hustles, as well as existing small businesses, to advocate and advertise for their products and services. And it also serves as a way for visitors, tourists, and residents to explore their communities.
Local businesses have been struggling now more than ever, and living in Seattle, I've witnessed a number of amazing small businesses and restaurants forced to shut down because of COVID. During the same time, large cap companies on the stock market have seen their businesses explode while the small mom and pop shops have been forced to shut down. This has only widened the wealth gap between the rich and the poor and stifled small businesses' chance of competing with these large giants. Through our solution, we can give small businesses a fighting chance and the exposure they need to stay afloat and thrive in these difficult times.
Hi, local businesses are the backbone of my country's economy. The pandemic has been a really tough time, and a lot of these businesses have folded up. My parents run a local guest house, and it has been really difficult competing with large hotel chains. A lot of large corporations have swooped in after the pandemic, and they've raised the economic inequality in our country. And it has been a difficult time to see the list for local businesses. I believe in this because it supports local products and also businesses like my parents and enables them to survive in an increasingly large corporation fueled world.
By supporting local businesses, we allow people to stay within their communities and help prevent them from either being displaced or having to move elsewhere. Usually, this is the result of gentrification, of which I've seen the first-hand effects of, as I had a friend who used to work at a small local bakery. Unfortunately, with rent getting higher and advertising pricier, they went out of business. Through our app, we hope that these small businesses can get a better following and can advertise themselves better to not only maintain themselves, their customers, but also their nearby residents. This can be done through either entrepreneurship, job opportunities, and hopefully circulating wealth.
So I've been living in New York City all my life, and I've seen neighborhoods struggle to thrive due to large companies such as Amazon and Walmart driving out mom and pop shops. And this led to gentrification, forcing many New Yorkers to become homeless, move into unsustainable living conditions, or even leaving the state entirely. We even had a mayoral candidate a few years ago who created the rent is too damn high party. And over the past few years, we've seen a great amount of New Yorkers actually leave the state, then move in. And especially with COVID this past year, this situation has gotten even worse, and it forced many people to start side hustles, small businesses, or like other creative avenues to just create any sort of income. And with a solution like this, it would help those such as a family member of mine who is currently running their small businesses through Instagram and other social media platforms. And with a platform that fully backs small businesses and side hustles, it will mobilize struggling neighborhoods by allowing them to have control over their dreams of becoming an entrepreneur, while also allowing people to reinvest into their communities by buying products made within their communities. And at the end of the day, to me, it is important to make sure that those who are from New York City and live in New York City, who live in New York City, are not just driven out just because they can't compete with large businesses such as Amazon and Walmart.